And we're back on for another mock draft. Our team has put in a lot of work today. We have done, I think, more than 5 or 6 hours mock drafting today. And we've gotten a whole bunch of very, very nice players in the process. We're currently going to be selecting at the 104, and that's a pick we've gotten often, the 103, 104, and 105. So we definitely feel comfortable with that pick. And what we're going to be looking for is a Tyreek Hill or Christian McCaffrey with that pick, based on the first 3 selections. So Mirars goes Justin Jefferson. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 taking their time down to 5 seconds. And they go on auto pick potentially, taking Jamar Chase. Echachi on the clock, taking Tyreek Hill. And that's going to make our decision pretty easy. We're going to go ahead and take Christian McCaffrey. He is going to be dynamic this year. We have reports that San Francisco won't be using him like a workhorse, which I think is good news. As a matter of fact, I think Christian McCaffrey is the best he is when he isn't being overused, when he's not being run down the middle. And I think that's really beneficial for him. So whenever he does touch the ball, it's going to be very efficient and very effective touches. So I'm very happy with that selection at the 104 with Christian McCaffrey. And then once Christian McCaffrey goes at the 104, Austin Eckler goes off at the 105, Stephon Diggs at the 106, and Bijan Robinson at the 107, following Travis Kelce at the 108. Duffy 8 is currently on the clock. They have a couple choices as they select Nick Chubb at the 109. So we do see a couple of running backs go off the board. I think these are sort of the tier 1, round 1 running backs. Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler, Bijan Robinson, Nick Chubb. The solidified guys that we're feeling really good about. And then there's this sort of a tier jump afterwards, where there's Barkley that went off the board at the 110, and then A.J. Brown went off the board at 111. There's sort of a tier off after Nick Chubb, with Barkley and Pollard and Jacobs and Henry. And that's sort of how I've viewed it so far. Monra at the 201. Tony Pollard at the 202. So we'll likely be looking for a receiver to get in the second round. If Josh Jacobs does fall to us, I wouldn't be opposed to getting Josh Jacobs. Derrick Henry maybe during the turnaround. Cooper Kupp we do see down here. He's obviously going in the second round, and someone we maybe might want to pull the trigger on. But of course, there's Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave, and Devontae Smith, who we know are for sure things heading into week 1. As Chris Olave goes off the board, Ghost is on the board. Cooper Kupp goes off the board at the 207. It makes our decision a little easier once again. I would have definitely contemplated about Cooper Kupp there. However, right now, let's see who Nitro Holic takes as they go Devontae Smith. So right now I'm between 2 players, Josh Jacobs and Waddle. I'm going to go ahead and take Waddle. This team is specifically exciting for me because this team won me a championship last year. I had Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Jalen Waddle. They were phenomenal. Won the franchise easy a championship in the FLM. Um, so that really makes me excited. Let's see if Josh Jacobs does fall to us. That would be fantastic to have Josh Jacobs as our running back too. We could take a sort of that elite quarterback, as we call them, or we could take a look at Jahmyr Gibbs as our running back too, to kind of, um, be that Saquon Barkley of last year for us in this championship winning roster. We did have AJ Brown on that roster as well. We did have Keenan Allen. Some good talents on that roster all around. Justin Herbert, Mike Williams. As Sierra 1234 takes Josh Allen, Achachi is on the clock. And as the time goes down, they take T. Higgins. So, taking a look at Jahmyr Gibbs here. Jahmyr Gibbs is probably the player I'm looking at. I'd be looking at Amari. I'd be looking at Mark Andrews. However, I like Jahmyr Gibbs slightly more than those two players. So let's go with Jahmyr Gibbs as our running back 2. And now we're going to have to find some championship winning upside with our wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3. And then ideally we'd want to pair this up with a quarterback and tight end. With Jalen Waddle, I'm looking at Tua later as our quarterback, potentially to stack for those Miami Dolphins touchdowns. If someone falls nice in value, we can take them in the 4th and 5th round. If not, I think wide receiver would be our best bet. In the 5th round, we can potentially consider a TJ Hawkinson or Darren Waller as Mark Andrews goes off the board. After Mark Andrews, Deebo Samuel goes to Kevin Cake, and then Duffy 8 takes Lamar Jackson. So I'm taking a look at, Amari Cooper would be nice, Keenan Allen would be nice, Christian Watson would be nice, and Drake London would be nice, of course. I don't know how many of these players will be there 10 picks away, so we should be looking maybe at the next tier. Mike Williams is a nice player. DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk, and Christian Kirk are all players, that I would feel comfortable taking. Christian Kirk is someone I've been taking a lot. He's been falling, later to the 6th round a lot of times. So I've been taking him, finding value there as my wide receiver 3 in a lot of teams. And then Brandon Ayuk, Mike Williams will be nice picks, potentially. So let's see which wide receiver falls. As we queued up 6 receivers and there were 7 picks away, let's take a look at some of the other positions as well. We will be looking at Hawkinson or Waller if they're available on the turnaround. However, I think we should address the wide receiver position currently as our wide receiver 2 after Waddle. Breece Hall is available. We're currently Joe Mixon as well. He's not someone we've been taking in these underdog drafts. I think he's like one of those avoid players. I think receiver would be nice. I'm really looking at Watson. Christian Watson would be very, very nice to get as Mike Williams and Drake London go off the board. So we're getting sort of skinny with some of the top receivers here, some of the top wide receiver 2s especially. As Joe Mixon goes off the board to Bez 2476, we're hoping Ghost, has taken 3 receivers, takes Najee Harris, and then Nitro Holic, I'm really hoping does not take Christian Watson. If he doesn't, we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger on Christian Watson. That'd be very nice to have Christian Watson as a wide receiver 2 alongside Jahmyr Gibbs and Christian McCaffrey. I think that would be a phenomenal start. However, I'm a little concerned here that Christian Watson is gonna go off the board to Neutraholic as he takes Brees Hall, and I'm very happy to say we're gonna go ahead and take Christian Watson in the fourth round with our 409 45th pick. As Christian Watson goes, Joe Burrow goes out the clock at the 410, and then 0 1 2 3 4 is on the clock. 0 1 2 3 4 has taken Josh Allen, Derrick Henry, and Jamar Chase so far. So interesting build. It's always interesting to see how the teams that take Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen in the beginning sort of pan out, especially with the running back position dwindling very fast in this year's draft. And that's something that we sort of are addressing very early on here with Christian McCaffrey and Jahmyr Gibbs, making sure that's secured alongside of Waddle and Watson, who we feel comfortable with. And then as the 504 comes up, we're really looking at TJ Hawkinson, Darren Waller, Brandon Ayuk, Christian Kirk. Even Dameon Pierce would be nice as a running back 3, slotted into our flex position, although he wouldn't be our first choice at the 52nd pick. Quarterbacks, I do see sort of a tier fall off here, so I'm willing to wait for Tua, to pair up with Jalen Waddle. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Brandon Ayuk here. With Brandon Ayuk, we have Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jalen Waddle, and Christian Watson. Essentially, we have a very strong core right now with our 2 running backs, 3 receivers. We feel very good about this roster. Now we can start thinking about tight end. I was really considering Waller there as he goes off the board to Neutraholic. Waller is someone who's very exciting, as TJ Hawkinson is. TJ Hawkinson is in that Minnesota offense that is electric. They are very fast and they are going to score a lot of points, and we've seen that in last year's season. And then Darren Waller has made a connection this offseason with Daniel Jones, and we're expecting that offense to take a step up as they have they have a shitload of receivers. They have like 4 or 5 receivers over there. I don't know who's gonna be good, but all we know is Darren Waller is supposed to be the main guy. So as Daniel Jones and Darren Waller, develop their connection, it's gonna be nice to see how Darren Waller pans out in his, the next part of his career, after Vegas. So Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jalen Waddle, Christian Watson, and Brandon Ayuk are off the board for our team. So now we're probably looking at some non-core positions. We're gonna have Tua, queued up here just to make sure we are prepared to draft him when it's time. And then we're also taking a look at George Kittle. However, there is some players that we would like to take here. There's some receivers that I definitely do like here, as Chris Godwin and George Kittle go off the board. Jonathan Taylor goes off the board at the 5'11". It's really interesting to see in these Underdog mock drafts where he's going. He could be going anywhere between the 4th round all the way to the 7th round in one of these drafts. One of our league mates, one of our team members got Jonathan Taylor in the 7th round. That's a very value worthy pick right there. However, in the 4th round and the 5th round, I'd be a little more hesitant. In the 6th round, I'd start considering. So that's how I would really approach Jonathan Taylor. What's exciting about Jonathan Taylor is that he could end up in a Miami Dolphins offense or another offense that is electric, and that could really revamp his career as well, and could be sort of that Christian McCaffrey trade-off season that really leads to league-winning upside. So we're going to have the 69th pick here, and with the 69th pick, we're going to be taking a look at players such as Mike Evans, such as Jordan Addison, and Miles Sanders. I think getting our wide receiver 4, our flex position will be nice here. Especially, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Kyle Pitts, so let's go ahead and take Mike Evans. I know that he's going to have some contract negotiation um, efforts with the Bucks organization through this next week. However, I don't think that's gonna impact his on field performance at all. He's a really nice wide receiver 4 to have. We can really depend on him. He's really safe. Um, so really, what I'm looking at is who we could potentially get here as another option for our flex. Either a running back 3 or wide receiver 5, someone who we could sort of expect to make that jump up into our flex position. Later, even later down the line, that's someone I would be looking at is Jordan Addison. In 7th round is really nice, a nice pick, I would say. Um, so Jordan, yes, but why I'm very hesitant about Jordan Addison is we have taken him in 7 other mock drafts. I just took a look at that number. So that does make me a little hesitant about picking Jordan Addison despite having major value out there at pick 76. Although, I really don't like some of these players. So with Jordan Addison, what we're doing is really just doubling down on Jordan Addison. And with being our wide receiver 5 here, I feel like we have 2 options that we can really depend on to be our flex output on a week to week basis. Mike Evans and Jordan Addison, one old, one young. And, Mike Evans, I think, will be that guy to start off the season. And as the season goes on, I think Jordan Addison will get integrated into his role. And think about the guy that is right across from him, lining up from the scrimmage. It's Justin Jefferson. And Justin Jefferson is going to command a shitload of attention from the defense. And who's going to benefit from that? Kirk Cousins and Jordan Addison. Adam Thielen is gone. Someone's going to have to take those shares, that opportunity. Jordan Addison is, primed to be that candidate to take those shares, as well as, he's a rookie. We want to start taking shots at rookies, whether it's Jordan Addison, JSN, Zay Flowers, even Quentin Johnston. If he drops in value, we did get news about Quentin Johnston that he is going to be the wide receiver 4 out there in LA. However, we do need to still take a look at Tua. Tua is going to be a player that we're interested in with this Jalen Waddle connection. We're also going to take a look at Jordan Love. Jordan Love is going to be someone we're going to want to draft as a backup quarterback. And anytime he connects with Christian Watson, that's going to be nice for us. And we can maybe take a look at Dobbs later on too. So that's currently our game plan for the quarterback position. And then for the tight end position, I'm taking a look at Freiermuth. I like Freiermuth this year. This season, he's gonna be, someone who Kenny Pickett's gonna have to depend on. There's gonna be a lot of improvements out there in Pittsburgh this year. Freiermuth, Pickett, Pickens, all of these, are pieces you want to take stabs at, take chances at. So, as we have a strong wide receiver group, I'm really taking a look at our tight end, our quarterback, and even our running back. Pacheco could be available potentially, and Khalil Herbert could be available. Those are 2 players that definitely are very interesting. we're gonna have to see if Pacheco and Herbert will fall to us, as we are 6 picks away. So at the 809, getting a running back 3 in Pacheco, and then on the turn getting our quarterback in Tua will be really nice. That's really what I'm looking at with these 2 picks. And then I'm hoping that maybe Pat Fryermuth we can get on the way back. Let's see what falls to us. I'm really taking a look at these 4 players currently, and we'll be selecting 2 of them. Antonio Gibson goes off the board at pick 90, as Ghost is on the board. He has 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers, as Ghost takes Isaiah Pacheco, someone we are definitely interested in. And then Nitro Holic is on the board. Sky Moore, pick 92. So Khalil Herbert, Tua, and Pat Fryermuth are all here. I think Pat Fryermuth will definitely fall to us in our next pick, but Tua is someone who could get picked. Khalil Herbert as well. I'm going to go ahead and take Khalil Herbert. I think Khalil Herbert is someone who will be a dependable running back 3 in this offense, where we essentially have 3 options for our flex. I know that we did wait a little long for quarterback or tight end. However, making sure where we don't have to set our lineup on a week-to-week basis, so we can always have the best guys in our lineup. Khalil Herbert, Mike Evans, Jordan Addison, whoever's going to perform is really going to, take that step into our starting roster. So now I'm going to really gear into taking quarterbacks and tight ends, as Pat Fryermuth will likely be available here. Tua does go out the board at the 94th pick, 810. Deshaun Watson at the 811. Michael Thomas at the 812. AJ Dillon at the 901. It is a bummer that we didn't get Tua and get that connection. However, the next thing I'm looking at is Jordan Watson. I'm looking at not a Jimmy Garoppolo, excuse me, Brock Purdy. And I'm looking to also get a starting quarterback that, like Anthony Richardson could be a wild card if you want to pull the trigger here over Fryermuth. I do want to take Fryermuth over Anthony Richardson, however, as I think we do have some decent options later on for quarterback. Next 2 picks, we're definitely going to be taking a quarterback. Anthony Richardson probably won't be falling to us, as he gets taken by Nitro Holic. Nitro Holic takes Anthony Richardson. I think that's a nice pick there. Let's take a look at his team. He's been taking some nice players that we've been talking about. So for Nitro Holic has taken Anthony Richardson, Eckler, Etienne, Hall, Sanders, Smith, Davis, Moore, and Waller. That's a nice team. His wide receivers could do some, he could get some more depth there. But apart from that, the team is looking really nice for Nitroholic. We got our guy Fryermuth, we got Addison, Mike Evans, and Khalil Herbert. We feel good about our flex position. We feel good about our tight end position. We feel comfortable with that. We're definitely going ahead and taking a quarterback soon. Once we do take a quarterback, we're definitely gonna consider taking some more running backs, as well as even a tight end a little earlier on. To back up Fryermuth, we could think about a Dalton Schultz. That's someone who had a nice so far career out there in Dallas, but this is the next transition he's taking in his career to Houston, and CJ Stroud's going to have to find options out there in Houston to be successful. He's sort of a mechanical quarterback, so I can see him using his tight end. I can see him finding sort of his receiver that he likes, gets attached to, and really depends on. That's something I can really envision in CJ Stroud's early career. So it's just a matter of who's it going to be there in Houston. Could be Dalton Schultz, it could be Nico Collins, and then there's some other wide receivers out there in Houston as well. So that's going to be interesting to see this year. As Ghost is up and then Nitroholic and then it comes back to us, so Dak Prescott goes off the board. We're probably taking a look at Kirk Cousins and Rodgers. I think we would want Kirk Cousins here. Get that Kirk Cousins Jordan Addison combination. Hopefully Nitroholic is not listening to this and will not be selecting Kirk Cousins. So as Nitroholic takes Tank Bigsby, we're gonna go ahead and take Kirk Cousins. We got Kirk Cousins, we got Jordan Addison to pair him up with. That's essentially gonna mean that any week that Jordan Addison, Kirk Cousins, the Minnesota Vikings offense are doing well, that's gonna be really good for our roster, for our fantasy football team. And that's sort of the connections we're trying to build, as we're gonna take Jordan Love to be our backup quarterback with that Christian Watson connection. So with that in mind, we're probably looking at Dalton Schultz very soon. There's also Dalton Kincaid here still available. Sam Laporta is still available. Tyler Higbee goes off the board, which is very interesting at 119. I think we can wait on wide receiver. We did really pick early for all our receivers: Waddle, Watson, Ayuk, Evans, and Addison. We made sure that our flex position is very strong on a week-to-week basis, so I don't think we have to really be concerned about wide receivers currently, as maybe we're trying to maximize our starting lineup with Freiermuth and Kirk Cousins. Getting a backup for them could be valuable. Jordan Love, obviously, we're going to wait on. However, Sam Laporta and Dalton Schultz are two tight ends I'm taking a look at currently with this pick 124. As Achache goes, Elijah Mitchell. We're looking at Sam Laporta and Dalton Schultz. We're going to go ahead and take Dalton Schultz here. It's not that I like Dalton Schultz more than Sam Laporta. It's just with Dalton Schultz, it's like a short thing. You know what you're getting out of it. I know it's a new offense. However, we've seen Dalton Schultz play. I could regret it later on going Dalton Schultz over Sam Laporta. However, I'm gonna take that chance. So we have Pat Freiermuth and Dalton Schultz as our tight ends. As for our receivers, we have Jalen Waddle, we have Christian Watson. We have Brandon Ayuk, we have Mike Evans, we have Jordan Addison. And for our running backs, we have CMC and Jahmyr Gibbs and Khalil Herbert. And then for our quarterback, we have Kirk Cousins. So we're definitely looking at Jordan Love likely in the next two picks. Alongside Jordan Love, we're probably taking a look at, taking a stab at a potential flex down the line. Our fourth flex position we'd be considering. And for this one, I think getting a running back would be nice. McKinnon would be nice. Devon A-Chain could be nice as he goes off the board to Goodfella 99 at pick 130. Rashad Penny wouldn't be a terrible pick, as that Philadelphia backfield is sort of just wide open for anyone to take over, and Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell, all these are really just chances you're taking, and your guess is as good as mine as who's gonna hit and who's not. As Rashad Penny goes off the board to F. Blake, FF Blake gets the next pick with Damian Harris. As we're 7 picks away, I do think Jordan Love will fall to us. As Jordan Love will be a nice backup quarterback to have. And then we're just looking to round out the team, get some of those final pieces in the middle that could have some upside later down the line. later, in week 5, 6, 7, and beyond. That's kind of what we're looking for. Um, wow, Mostert is already off the board. Fair enough. Someone I might be looking for is, if he's available, Jamal Williams is off the board as well. Fair enough. So, wow, Sam Laporta's falling. I might get third tight end. I'm going to go ahead and take Sam Laporta. He was the other tight end we were considering. We go 3 tight ends. We feel really good about our tight ends. Freiermuth, Schultz, Sam Laporta all have different bye weeks, and we can make sure that these 3, we're still maximizing our tight end position. Despite not taking Kelsey, we have 3 players on a week-to-week basis. They're 3 top 15, top 12 tight ends that we just took stabs on, and we don't have to choose any of them who's going to start. We just have to pick the one that's scoring the highest every week. So now I'm going to be taking Jordan Love with this pick 148, and I'm going to feel really good about that. And it felt really nice, not having to worry about our wide receivers once we took our wide receiver 5 at pick 76, which is very early. I think that was, pick 7, if I'm not wrong. Round 7, excuse me. Yeah, round 7. We took 2 running backs and 5 wide receivers, and we still feel really good about our tight ends. We're going to take Jordan Love and really try to maximize our stacks, and kind of, that's sort of how we're making up for not taking a Jalen Hurts, a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or a Lamar Jackson. So I'm liking the build of our roster so far. Once we get Jordan Love, after that we're going to look to take running back and wide receiver. We got Jordan Love with pick 148. So, taking a look at the board, we have 5 more picks left, and we definitely want to get 2 more receivers and 2 more running backs. And this last pick can be really like a wild card, whoever's best available sort of pick. Likely not going to be tight end, as we have 3 already in our first 13 rounds or 12 rounds. And then let's take a look at quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. So Roschon Johnson is someone I would, want to take a stab at, as he's a rookie running back. Khalil Herbert is their running back 1. He's not necessarily, the best candidate to take over. So Roschon Johnson could have a chance out there. Brock Purdy is someone else I'd be considering to kind of maximize that Brandon Ayuk stack. And with all our mid quarterbacks to be said, we're kind of just maximizing it out with our receivers. We're kind of taking their favorite receivers, whether it's Brandon Ayuk, Watson, or Waddle, or not, sorry, Addison, Watson, or Ayuk, kind of their wide receiver 2s, or in Jordan Love's case, wide receiver 1. And whenever they have a good day, it's good for us. So Brock Purdy would be nice. Sam Howell is someone else that would be nice as our quarterback 3. And then Jalen Hyatt is another rookie. We're definitely looking to take some rookie upside. Devontae Parker. Potentially, we'll see. I think that could be a bit of a stretch. As Jake Ferguson from the Dallas Cowboys goes off the board at 158. Kenny Pickett, 159. Duffy, 8 is on the board, as we're 5 picks away. We could take Brock Purdy here. Or Jalen Hyatt. Keon Jackson goes to Duffy A at pick 160. Kevin Cake takes Russell Wilson at pick 161. Bez2476 takes Zach Moss at pick 162. Juwan Johnson goes at pick 163 to Ghost. Brock Purdy at 164. Well, that's going to hurt that Brock Purdy goes. So we were planning on taking Brock Purdy to be our QB3. However, Brock Purdy does go off the board. So we had to kind of shift gear towards someone else and take Jalen Hyatt to be our wide receiver 6. So we took Jalen Hyatt. Now we're going to consider taking a running back. We're going to consider taking a wide receiver. DPJ is someone we could take a shot at. You know, they have Amari Cooper, they have Elijah Moore, but DPJ just goes off the board. A good pick, Mrars. DJ Chark goes off right after, back to Mrars at pick 169. As we're on the clock in 2 selections. So I'm looking at Kareem Hunt here. We're going to need to take another running back for sure. But Kareem Hunt, you know, as a headline says, as the headline said, he's getting some attention by some teams. And it's just major upside we're kind of getting with Kareem Hunt if he finds himself a role in the NFL on any team. That's, you know, we've seen him be this RB2 on a team and still be really effective, still be a serviceable flex for your team. So that's exactly what we're hoping for, is if he kind of gets on a team to start off the season in the first couple weeks, then we've got ourselves a really effective running back 4 that's really a running back 2 or 3, probably a running back 3 off of these draft boards. So that being said, we're still taking a look at running back. I don't think we can depend on, you know, Hunt getting signed. That's a big if. Bryce Young could be an exciting pick for our quarterback 3. We have 3 more selections, so definitely need one more running back. We can take someone like not a lot of pieces, you know, to be had this late on in the running back position. However, we got to make with what we have. We got to make do with what we have, and sort of Gus Edwards is maybe something I'd be looking at. Ty Chandler maybe, Jerome Ford. Sort of avoiding CEH, Deontay Foreman. Deontay Foreman wouldn't be a bad pick. I think that's the selection we'll go with. I'm sure he'll fall to us, but I think Deontay Foreman will be a handcuff for Khalil Herbert, and I think that'll be a nice selection to have. And then we're also looking at wide receiver. For wide receiver, you know, maybe we take a Tank Dell, maybe we take a Josh Downs, maybe we take a Puka Nakua. I think those are the 3 receivers we're looking at to be our wide receiver 7 on our team. I feel good about our tight ends. So let's see who sort of falls to us, and we'll take 2 of our guys afterwards, and then there's going to be one more selection to be made to finish off this draft today. And, you know, this journey has been interesting. We've gone from $200 all the way down to $60 now. We'll be back with a couple more mock drafts before the season starts. between tomorrow, the day after. So, we're hoping that you guys are able to see some, interesting strategies, new strategies, different builds through these mock drafts as we're learning, as you're learning. I think it's been a very valuable process, and we're gonna do a video where following the season where we'll show how we did with these drafts, our performance, how much money we won, whether we hit that 1 out of 12 win rate that we're hoping for, or going above that. So we're gonna go ahead and take Deontay Foreman here. That'd be really nice if we can get maybe a 1 out of 10 win rate. That would be very nice. 1 out of 10 first place finishes in 40 mock drafts, still for 4 first place finishes. In these $5 mock drafts, it's $32 for first place, and then $5 will be returned for third place and $17 for second place. So we're expecting to get a couple first place finishes, a couple second place finishes, and a couple third place finishes. However, it's fantasy football, anything can happen. We're hoping 4 or 5 first place finishes isn't out of reach. That's something that we can get, and we can build. I think we built already at least 5 killer teams that I think can go ahead and potentially win the championship. So Josh Downs, Puka Nakua are probably the receivers that we're looking for as our wide receiver 7. And then quarterbacks, I'm taking a look at Jimmy G here. Jimmy G could be nice to have. And then maybe a CJ Stroud could be nice, as we have a Dalton Schultz. So we do have 2 selections. Let's pick 196. These players do go off the board faster. I'd be happy with Josh Downs, to be honest. Let's go with Josh Downs. And then with our last pick, we're going to go ahead and take quarterback. Jimmy G, CJ Stroud are probably the 2 players I'm looking at. If not, then we're going to take Mac Jones. Not super exciting pick there, but someone I think we can count on from a week-to-week basis. And he's going to be our QB3. He's not going to be someone we're really looking for in terms of production a lot. Maybe like 1 or 2 weeks we're going to be depending on him. So that being said, any of these quarterbacks I think will suffice. If for some reason all these they go, then we'll optimize our wide receivers and take Puka Nakua. Let's see what happens as Robert Woods goes off at the 201 pick. Michael Mayer of the Las Vegas Raiders goes off at the pick 202. And then Cordero Patterson goes off at the pick 203. Chase Claypool at the pick 204. Then our guy Pakua Nakua goes off at the 205. That's a shame, but I think we were still really hoping for a quarterback with this last pick, as we're 7 picks away. So for Tizzo and Taco takes Darius Slayton at pick 206. Then Goodfella 99 is up. I'm sure they should be looking for the quarterback or tight end, maybe a third one. Let's take a look. Justin Herbert, Kenny Pickett, Kyle Pitts, Michael Mayer. It's not a bad team, or bad 2. So they could really go in any direction. Duffy 8 might go quarterback here, as they have taken 1 quarterback in Lamar Jackson. And then they've gone 7 running backs and 1 tight end. It's very interesting. So they just have Evan Ingram and Lamar Jackson. Wow. So this is what I would recommend not doing, taking 7 running backs and 8 receivers while only taking 1 quarterback and tight end. I mean, even with that, they don't have a great wide receiver crew. They don't have a great running back crew. I don't know what really happened with that team, to be honest. It's a team that I would be expecting to lose. Duffy 8, if you're listening, that's a team I wouldn't want to have in the FLM, to be honest. As Kyler Murray went at the 208, Clyde Edwards-Helaire went at the pick 209. Bez 42476 takes Jerome Ford at the 210. And then Ghost and Nitroholic will be on the clock. And then after them will be us. And hopefully we'll get Jimmy G or CJ Stroud, as Kyron Williams goes to Ghost. I think we'll get our choice here. We're going to go ahead and take Jimmy Garoppolo to round out this draft. So let's take a recap of our team real quick. We have QBs, Kirk Cousins, Jordan Love, Jimmy Garoppolo. Then we have running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Jahmyr Gibbs, Khalil Herbert, Kareem Hunt, Deontay Foreman. And wide receivers, Jalen Waddle, Christian Watson, Brandon Ayuk, Mike Evans, Jordan Addison, Jalen Hyatt, Josh Downs. And then tight ends, Pat Freiermuth, Dalton Schultz, and Sam Laporta. I feel good about this team. That wraps it up for us for all of today's drafts. I think this is one of the stronger teams that we've drafted today. We have a really strong wide receiver crew that we can depend on. We have our 2 running backs that are supposed to be stars, alongside, a valid third option at running back. And then we have some quarterback stacks that we're going to really depend on. Hope they get some touchdowns alongside their receiver. And then the tight end core is someone we waited on, and then took 3 guys all right there in the middle. If you can see here, Pat Freiermuth, Dalton Schultz, Sam Laporta. 3 tight ends in 4 rounds, essentially, to make sure that we're getting strong tight end production on a week-to-week basis. I feel really good about this team. I think that's going to wrap it up for us on today, Sunday, September 3rd. And as the season approaches, we're really excited to see how all these teams perform. But for tonight, that's all, and have a good night, everyone.